Hey everyone, it's Avery. Welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time here, some things to know about me. I'm 23. I live in the Midwestern United States, and this is my second ever YouTube video. So I'm ironing out the kinks right now. I know very little about editing, but I'm making my way through it. But my YouTube channel is about personal finance, and specifically personal finance as a young adult, since that's clearly what I have experience with. If that's something you're interested in, feel free to subscribe. And if you have any comments or questions, feel free to leave them down below. Anyways, in today's video, I'm going to be talking about my 2022 financial goals. I know we're a little bit into the new year, but since I need to make some videos, I thought it'd be a good idea to share it. Besides, we're still in January, so it's not that bad. I'm not that late. So, moving on, let's talk about my 2021 financial recap. Oh, also as a side note, I thought about filming this video with my face, but given my editing skills, I figured let's try the PowerPoint slide recap style and see if that works. So that's what we're going with today. Maybe in the future I'll film some videos using my camera. So anyways, I to do a 2021 financial recap, my major accomplishment in 2021 when it comes to my personal finances is paying off my car. And oh, I should have added a picture. Oh well. But in 2020, I bought a new to me car. It was a 2017 white Volkswagen Jetta, and the total cost was about $16,000. I put down a down payment for $6,000, so that meant I got an auto loan for $10,000. And I knew once I got the auto loan that I was going to pay it off early. I actually ended up getting a 6-year loan, and I paid off the loan exactly 1 year after I made my first payment, which was unintentional, but still pretty cool. So the total loan balance was $10,808. I had an interest rate of 4.84%, and I paid it off in a year. So I don't know the exact amount with if you add in interest that I paid, but like the total effective amount, if you will, is $10,808. So that was my major accomplishment. Another pretty big accomplishment I had in 2021 was I opened a Roth IRA and I contributed $770. So I had a automatic contribution of $50. I think I started it in February, and then once I got a new job in April, I started funding it on a monthly basis. So I had a $50 monthly contribution, and then when I had extra money, I would try to put it into that account as well. So I'm pretty proud of that. And then my next accomplishment was I reached $7,000 in my pension account. So I am a public employee, so I pay into what's called a 401(a), and 10% of my salary goes into that, and it has a 1% interest on it. I can do a whole video about the pension account, but for now, let's just go with there's $7,000 in there. That's quite the accomplishment for at 23 years old, I think. Another major accomplishment was I found a budgeting method that worked for me. I use You Need a Budget. I think I've tried it a few times in the past and I just could not get the hold of it, could not understand it at all. But now that I'm graduated from college and I have a full-time job, almost forgot. I have a full-time job. It's actually way easier to budget. Who would have thought? But now that I'm using You Need a Budget, I feel like I have a lot of clarity in my personal finances. And then this last one, I thought I just added in here. I read 8 books about personal finance in 2021. My favorites were The Simple Path to Wealth, which I just realized I did not even spell correctly on here. But you know the book. Everyone knows the book. If you don't know the book, read the book. I feel like everyone talks about it. And then I also really liked I Will Teach You to Be Rich by Ramit Sethi. So I don't think I'm going to read that many more personal finance books in 2022. I have a couple. I have one called like Work Optional that I'm like halfway through. And then I've started Your Money or Your Life, but I'm not like itching to finish them. I pretty much have like a good baseline knowledge of personal finance now. So then also I just added this meme on here. I'm just going to pay off my auto loan early and I'm broke. That's 1,000% how I felt when I paid off my car loan because I was working so many hours, putting so much money towards it. I was so glad to be done with it. So I just really relate to that meme. All right, so that's a recap of my 2021 goals or my 2021 accomplishments. In 2022, put these in order of like importance. So the first one I want to do is build up my emergency fund. I use You Need a Budget. So don't look at the current balance and think, oh, she only has $1,000 in her bank account in her emergency fund. Yes, technically my line item emergency fund is 1,000, but since I use You Need a Budget, I also follow like the true expenses ideology they have. So I have way more than $1,000 in my bank account. However, I would like to increase my line item for my emergency fund. I just think it would bring me a lot of peace of mind if I got that balance higher. I know it's just kind of a mindset thing, but I do think it'd be a good idea to especially get the balance up before my student loans go back into repayment, which I'll get to on the next slide. So, anyways, my current balance is $1,000. For this year, I'm trying to give myself not a break, but some slack. I feel like in 2021, I was so hyper focused on paying off my car that I was miserable a lot and I felt overwhelmed and I didn't feel like there's a lot of balance in my life, both personal and financially. So that's why you see a goal balance of $3,000 and for a stretch goal 5,000. But I'm not gonna like push myself or punish myself if I don't get to $5,000. Um, and then for the meme for this page, I got Bianca Del Rio from RuPaul's Drag Race, if you've ever watched that. So I just thought that was pretty funny. So moving on, we have a Roth IRA. As I mentioned earlier, I opened my Roth in 2021, and now in 2022, I'd like to increase my contributions. I want to go up to $125 a month minimum, so that's a $1,500 yearly contribution goal. My stretch goal would be $2,500. I think that would be pretty, and I'd be pretty happy with that if that happened. But again, not gonna push myself or punish myself if I don't get to that point. I'm still pretty young, so I think I'm just gonna slowly ramp up my retirement savings. And since I have some more pressing goals like my emergency fund, I don't want to throw every dollar that I have into my Roth IRA just yet. So, stretch goal $2,500 contribution. Super duper stretch goal $6,000, obviously. I think everyone would love to max out their Roth IRA. So, yeah, I think $1,500 is a good starting point. We'll see if I can add more than that. As of now, maybe I'll do a video about my 2022 annual budget. I should be able to make, I should be able to do that. I should be able to meet that goal pretty easily. Slow and steady just will work best for me. So, moving on. Student loans. You know them. I got them. Um, my 2022 starting balance is $22,080.14. I graduated college in May of 2020, so right in the thick of things. But the nice thing about graduating then, if you want to think about it this way, is the student loan forbearance we've been in since the beginning of the pandemic. So luckily the balance has not been accruing interest, except for when Navient added $5 in interest for no reason, and they refused to take the money off, but that's neither here nor there. I'll save that for another time. The point of the matter is I have about $22,000 in student loans, and I had toyed around with the idea of paying them off in like the same pace that I paid off my car loan, because I did about almost $11,000 in a year. So I think I could do $22,000 in like 2 years. And that's not even assuming if I get any raises or whatever money that just falls into my lap somehow. But one of my like overarching mindset for 2022 is like financial balance, if that makes sense. I don't want to I don't want to burn myself out for something as stupid as student loans. I would rather take a slower course of action to pay those off. And I'm thankful enough to have a balance that's low enough that it doesn't feel an incredibly pressing issue. And all of my loans are federal loans too, so that is nice as well. So moving on to what my goal is. I want to get the balance below $20,000 and or $3,000 paid off. So that'd be a little lower than 20K. Repayment begins in May 2022 for now. Who knows? They could change it again. And I currently have $2,080.14 saved. So what I had been planning on doing was making a lump sum payment once my before the student loan forbearance was set to end at the end of January. But you saw what happened with that. Now it's not due until May. And I thought about trying to stretch myself to make like a larger payment in May. And I do think I'll save more than what I currently have saved, but I don't think it's going to be some substantial amount. It might be like $3,000 since that's my goal, 3,000 paid off. A stretch goal is 5,000 paid off. I might just end up paying 5,000. I do have some flexibility in my annual budget, assuming my income matches my projections, and I projected my income pretty conservatively. So it could happen, but again, if I don't want to push myself to do it, I'm not going to do it. I really want to balance my personal finance with my mental health this year. Sinking funds. So, first of all, this meme makes me laugh so hard. But moving on, I have a few different sinking funds in my uni budget, but there's a few that are like taking priority for me. Christmas, of course, is a priority. I want to save $750. That's about $6,250 a month if I start in January, which I have. And then it'll be nice to have a Christmas sinking fund for, you know, what you spend Christmas money on. I need to buy gifts. I want to buy decorations maybe this year. I didn't have any decorations up in my apartment last year. I had a tree, but it wouldn't fit. That's how small my apartment is. It's okay though. Things like that. The typical Christmas items you want to buy. That's what I'd buy with that money. So I'm going to save for it now. That way, by the time it's December, I don't feel panicked or overwhelmed about how much money I need to spend. I'll already have the money saved. And then I have a medical sinking fund. I've been like slowly inching up my contributions on this account or this like sinking fund. When I started my ynab journey, I was doing $40 a month, and then I bumped it up to 50, and now we're up to 60. And honestly, if I had more money, I'd put even more money in there. I'd love to get to a point where I had at least my medical out of pocket saved. That's $1,000. Or at the very least, my medical deductible saved, which is $500. I'm at neither of those points. I have about $200 saved. And the reason why I just have so little saved is because I use my medical money. I have some medical issues that require just basically monthly costs associated with them, prescriptions, things like that. So I do use the money from this account. So it's hard to build up the balance unless I contribute more money. So that's why we're at $60 a month now as the goal for that account. I don't have like a projected in balance. Even if I reached $1,000, I'd probably just keep saving money in there because you never know when you might need it. Like, for example, I just got a bill from my doctor for a service I got done last June. You can tell I'm annoyed by it. It's just a copay, it's just $30, but it's just the fact that it took them half a year to bill me for it. You never know when something's going to pop up. But with $30, there goes half of the contribution in a month. Finally, my vacation sinking fund. I always want to go on a vacation. When I was younger, we didn't go on very many vacations, and I had about from the end of high school through the end of college to 20 to through 2020 to the middle of 2021, I didn't go on any vacations because I just didn't have the money, and then a pandemic hit. But now that I have a job and I control my finances more, I have more control over what I can spend the money on. I want to save money for a vacation. So I want to save for $800 to go to Austin, Texas with my mom. If you watched my last video where I budgeted my first paycheck of 2022, I talk about it a bit in there. So that's at the end of February. I have about 550 saved so far. So hopefully with my next paycheck, I can have the $800. Which sounds like a lot. We're only gonna be there for like 4 or 5 days, but I'd rather oversave than undersave. I actually just bought a bike and I had saved up $700 for it. And I guess I severely undersaved. I guess I have no idea how much bikes cost, especially in my city that seems to have a pretty big bike culture or biking culture. And the supply chain issues, literally any reason you can think of to make a bike cost so much money because I didn't want to go to Walmart. I went to an actual bike shop. It cost me about $1,100 after all things were said and done. And I still don't even have a helmet yet. So it's pretty easy to undersave. So I think $800 should be good for Austin, Texas. And I should have a lot of control over my expenses there because it's pretty much just what I decide to do. Because my mom will be in a work conference for part of the trip and I will just be hanging out. And then I also want to save for a trip later in the year. I don't know where it's going to be. I don't know if it'll be like a week-long trip. That'd be my goal. Me and my boyfriend had talked about going road tripping for about 10 to 12 days. But he has to get a knee surgery, so he's going to be recovering from that for probably the next 4 to 6 months. So it's probably not in the cards if we can't get it in during the summertime. But we might do some smaller trips here and there. We talked about going to Lake Michigan, for example. Um, so I want to save $1,500. That's assuming I did a week-long trip. If I did shorter trips, they would cost different amounts of money. You know the deal. I thought I'd close this off with some personal goals. Not gonna get too in depth with it because I don't know about you, but in 2022, I'm a little wary. I'm a little scared of it. I feel like 2021 was a good year financially, a bad year mentally. The second year of the pandemic really hit me hard. So I don't want to overdo it for my goals. So with that being said, I want to exercise more. I feel like I'm already overdoing it. But I bought a new bike. I'll talk about that more probably in my next budgeting video next Friday, so check that out. Subscribe to see it. But I want to bike more. I'm close to a bike trail and I live in a neighborhood that's not it's not you're not that likely to die if you bike on the roads, unlike some neighborhoods around here. And the state that I live in has a lot of nice bike trails throughout the state. So I'm really excited to use my bike. Right after I bought it, it snowed like 6 inches, so haven't used it yet. It's also been like 12 degrees. Haven't used it yet. But the second it gets warm and there's not ice on the ground, I'm gonna use my bike. And I'm really excited to use it. I might even bike to work if I ever have to go into the office again, because it's about a 15-minute bike ride away. I think that'd be great. My doctor wants me to do more aerobic exercise for my blood pressure, so I think biking would be a great way to do it. And then I want to do yoga practice. Right before the pandemic hit, I was getting pretty into yoga. I had a yoga membership and I really enjoyed going to the classes. I don't know if I'll get a yoga membership again, but I would love to be able to purchase classes and then supplement with a home practice some more. So, 2022, let me develop my yoga practice. I want to read 52 books. That's pretty self explanatory. That's about a book a week. I'm already behind, but we'll get there. I have 30 books I have started and have read parts of. So, as soon as I finish any of those, I should be well on my way of reaching that goal. And if I think the goal's too high, I'll just lower it. That's just how it is with goals, you know? I talked about this one a lot throughout the video, financial peace and clarity. I know I said it's a personal goal, and this sounds like a financial one, but I can just put it here. That's what I did. And then I tentatively have preparing for grad school. At my work, I have a great benefit when it comes to tuition. I don't have to pay it if I want to go back to school. It doesn't even have to be for grad school. It could be for undergrad, it could be any class that I feel like taking. It's free. With grad school, there is like a tax implication if I do it. So that's something to keep in mind. But it's still a great benefit, even if I use it for grad school and had to pay taxes on some of the benefit. I just don't know what I want to do yet. Whenever I do, maybe I'll make a video on it. But I don't want to rush into anything. So I'm going to take 2022. I'm going to take 2022 to really think about it, really decide what I want my trajectory to be in life. Not in life, just like in education. And hopefully come to a decision. That way I would probably start I don't think I'd start in the fall, but I'd probably start in 2023 maybe if I decide to go to grad school. Alright, thank you for watching. If you like this video, feel free to like it. If you want to subscribe, feel free to subscribe. Thank you for watching. I'd love to know what your 2022 goals are, both personal or financial. If you feel like sharing, just leave them down below. But anyways, thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.